I do that?
Oh hey, it me, JT. Still trying to come up with how I'm going to be doing that, but here I go. For my first topic, my mental health, because my mental health is connected to my health and wellness journey, believe it or not, one of the first things that people wanted to hear about was my anxiety and depression, which hilariously caused me to spike a little bit in my anxiety and depression. Did you know that an estimated 19.1 of adults have an anxiety disorder in the past year? Did you also know that an estimated 31% of US adults experience an anxiety disorder at some time in their lives? That number seems low, and the reason for that is people are quick to dismiss stress. The first thing that people tend to say, especially ignorant people, but Jeannie, isn't anxiety just a fancy word for being really stressed out? Anxiety and depression, while not always coupled together, often are. It's really tough to talk about, and it's really tough to put your finger on. It's easy to dismiss your anxiety as being stressed out. I grew up and had pretty massive panic attacks regularly, but I always just thought it was, oh, my family tends to be stressed out. I get easily stressed out. I didn't realize that it was part of who I was. I didn't realize how much it was affecting my daily life. Anxiety affects my daily life in a lot of ways. One of the first ones is that it makes it hard to get the motivation to do anything. When I'm at my worst, my anxiety levels, it feels like there is a literal rock sitting on me, like physically. A lot of us know who have anxiety. Our anxiety can manifest in us feeling things that aren't really there. Yeah, it feels like something is sitting on you. For different people, your anxiety may manifest different places. Some people feel it more in their heart, some people feel it more in their stomach, people feel it more in their head. For mine, it's mostly in my chest. Some symptoms for me, I find it really difficult to breathe. I find it difficult to move. I get stuck in a mental loop of why does anything matter, and I can't break it. There are, of course, other symptoms. Disclaimer, I am a person with anxiety sharing my story. I am not an expert on anxiety. I will put some links in the description with some places that you can go to find more information if you think that you or someone you know might have severe anxiety, so that they can get some help and resources. I always felt that I was an anxious person, but I didn't think that I had anxiety. The only thing that caused me to actually do something about it was my mother's passing, which I will talk more about in another video, because grief is its own monster outside of anxiety. However, the anxiety of doing all the things that come with, parent passing, I got really sick. I stopped menstruating. I was overeating like crazy. On the way home from work, stopping at a drive-thru and ordering like 5 things and shoving them all in my face before I got home, that kind of thing. It got to the point where I was late for work every single day, and I spent most of my prep periods sitting on my desk with my head down, unable to think. After the kids left, I would sit at my desk with my head down, just kind of unable to think. My anxiety really took over, and it really came to a head on in about February of last year, when I showed up to work, was having a panic attack in my car. I texted my boss, and they told me to just come inside and sit with someone. I ended up spending the whole first half of my day in someone's office just crying and hyperventilating. That was it for me. My coworker, who I owe so much to, I can't be more grateful for this person. They looked up a bunch of numbers for like doctors, therapists, because at that point I was not taking care of myself. I was so anxious and depressed that I had stopped 100% taking care of myself. And I had moved to a new town, and I didn't have a doctor, and I didn't have anything. And they forced me to get into therapy, and I started talking to my now therapist, and they're wonderful. I love my therapist for a lot of reasons, but Anxiety also affects my daily life in that in times where I have to be alone, I get stuck. That's why mornings are really hard for me. I have to wake up by myself and get myself ready and get myself out of bed. And sometimes I just can't do it. I can't deal with my own thoughts. I can't deal with being by myself. That's something you might call a trigger, being alone for me. Sometimes it seems like nothing, but then when you start actually looking at all the times that you've had anxiety, you notice that there is something that's happening before or around the time of, again, allegedly. So this is actually a pretty funny story. When I went, funny like, not like, it's a little funny, but like only in the sense of like you have to laugh or else it's just sad. So I went to the doctor. Well, they brought me in and they gave me this test, and I didn't know what to expect from an anxiety test. But they asked me a series of like 20 questions. Did they play 20 questions with me? They did. They played anxiety 20 questions. And the questions were, I think I don't matter, constantly in your thoughts. And I got an A+. I got a 19 out of 20. And yeah, I'm an overachiever, even with my anxiety, so I was very happy. So immediately they put me on medication, and I bounced around. I tried one medication and it gave me rashes that were so bad. I literally was covered in bumps and it was itchy. So that answers that question. Yes, I take medication. And do I need it? Oh boy. No, so a couple weeks ago I messed up my meds and I was officially only off them for about 4 or 5 days before I went back on, and it was kind of a nightmare. It was a living nightmare. I had a hard time getting out of bed in the morning again. I felt like that rock feeling, like I could actually like almost touch and tell you how big the rock on my chest was. It was just so painful. I would get like I didn't lose my vision, like I didn't get blurry, but I did feel like my whole head was heavy. I had a hard time focusing on anything. None of the things I loved made me happy. The only time I felt happy was working out, and I think that was the only time that my brain was occupied was when I was working out. So that's the only reason I was able to keep together. Yes, I do therapy. Therapy is so important. Legit, people. I think everyone should be in therapy. I see my therapist now, telehealth, once every 2 weeks. When I first went to her, it was every week. I know people who do once a month. I know people who do once every 2 months. I see it as no different than a regular doctor. If you're willing to go get a test on certain parts of your body, why are you not covering other parts of your body? That helps you make decisions. So I wish that therapy was something that could be covered by healthcare. Yeah, that's something I'm very passionate about. I think that everyone should be in therapy of some kind. Even if you only go once every 6 months or once a year just to do a check. Your mind is so connected to your body, and if you're not taking care of it, it's given me a lot of grounding techniques. Grounding techniques are things that take you back to earth, kind of. Because when you're having that anxiety, you're living in this what if, rhetorical, imaginary world, kind of, where everyone in the world has eyes on you and they all hate you, which is just not true. So some grounding techniques that I'll share with you is this 5-4-3-2-1 technique. And that's the one that's really worked for me. It's really silly. Well, it's not really silly. It's more that a lot of these grounding techniques are not anything wild, but they force you to concentrate on something outside of yourself, which gives you just enough time to break the cycle of all the things going on in your head. So I also have started doing this breathing activity where I think about especially at night, because my anxiety takes over a lot when I go to bed and I have a hard time sleeping. So I've done a breathing activity where I breathe in something positive and I breathe out something negative. So that way I can acknowledge the negative things, but I breathe them out. So one I did yesterday, even with starting this channel, I breathe in that somebody will see this and be inspired, or that somebody will see this and I can help somebody, and I will breathe out that people have negative things to say about me, because when you think about it, what's more important? And the more that we educate and the more we know, the better off we can be, the more we can move forward. If there was anything that I didn't talk about that you would like to know more about, please leave a comment or message me. Also, please check out my Instagram. I'm going to be posting my food that I'm eating, some of my exercises, pictures of my progress. Thank you so much for watching, and
Here's a fun clip of me singing the song that this video is named after, which due to copyright reasons, you'll only get this really awkward video of. Enjoy!